teach you, right? So teaching is always in one-way communication. I'm going to train you. So I want this to happen at a two-way, right? So I'm not going to judge you based on your answers, right? So I want you people to participate at the end of the day. And again, there's no right or wrong answers in here. It's just opinions, right? So no need to worry what will happen or what I'll think of your answers. If your answer is wrong, even I welcome that. Okay, so no need to worry about it. Or I think I believe that everyone are your friends, right? Will you participate? Yes. Hope I'm comfortable with you, and you're also comfortable with me. So it's going to be training. So it's not going to be a theoretical. I want this session to be happening at a lot of interaction to be happening along the way. So I expect a lot of people to participate. So will you guys? Yes. No. Any answers? Are you all there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you all are in a group, like individually you have been logged in, or like in a set, in a group you have been logged in, like in a class. How's that it works? Because I see a lot of silence in here, apart from acknowledging and even for the response of yes and no. Okay, so I see almost 16, 15 people in here. Okay, I'll just share my slide. Hope my screen is visible to you all. The blank screen, which you can see that, guys. Yes, no, anyone? So that I know at least
Yes,
you
sir.
people are there or not. I think it's good
Yes,
to
sir.
yes or no. Okay, see again, guys, just try to participate because winning and losing is secondary. Participation is first, right? Because in this generation, your marks, your CGPA, your percentage, all these things are just a token bus for your interview. Apart from that, your skills gonna speak. So today we're gonna learn one of these skills. Apart from that, participation has also become one of the vital skill for like I say, it's a job readiness skill. The skills which has been really required to perform well on the job, right? So I think I want to break that barrier with you all. So no need to worry about it. Okay. So I think my voice is clear. Yes. Can you understand what I speak? Like, is it fast, slow, or this pace is good? I want to check with everything. If anything else, if you can't understand something, you can just ask me, right? Anyone?
Okay, sir.
Okay. I do get yes or no. Okay. So today the topic is on. I think most of the people will be knowing about today what is the topic is on. So what's the topic today?
Oral communication, sir.
Oral communication. Okay. I think most of the people might have. I think from the school days, right? You might have heard about this term communication. Okay. Just a second. Okay. So before knowing about oral communication, we should know about what is communication, because which is much more important. The reason why people want to know about communication is that it has been understood in a very wrong sense, right? So I want to break that myth. Okay. So what is communication according to you? Yes, somebody can answer me. What is communication according to you, people?
Sharing or exchanging the information with others.
Okay, good. Sharing or exchanging information. Yes. Then apart from that, guys, even if your answer is wrong, that is okay. I welcome that. See, yeah, even I'm going to learn from you and you're going to learn from me. We're going to share the knowledge, right? See, it doesn't mean that I know everything, because you might give me some new examples, new terms, something new you can say to me, right? So even I'm going to learn from you. So it's going to share it. So no need of that barrier between us. Yes, come on. Yeah. Anyone? So what are the places we use this communication? That's okay. We'll leave about that. So what are the places we use this communication? Anyone? Guys, again, I'm looking for the participation, because why I'm pushing you so much is that communication is effective once you speak only, right? So the topic is again on oral communication, right? If you don't communicate orally today, so that's going to be I'm going to spend my energy and time, and you're also spending your time and energy today, right? So I want this to be a productive session. I want this to be a constructive session. I don't want to be happening at a one-way part, right? So just try to participate. So if you want to answer anything, you can just answer it. Or if you're comfortable with English, if you can just, if you want to know something or if you want to ask any doubt regarding that, you can just ask me in your regional language. Maybe. If I understand, I can just try to explain you on that. Yes, I say 18 people, right? I think almost 16 people. I can see that. Okay, so now we'll go to the next part of it. So before knowing about any topic, right, it's not only about communication. So before starting any topic, it's more important to know about why, how, and what. Because without knowing why, there's no use of knowing about what and how. Okay, whatever topic, right, whatever topic you study, whatever subject or whichever subject you study, okay, without knowing why, without knowing the reason why I'm doing this, there is no reason like use about knowing about how and what. So first we'll see about why. Why we need this communication? That's the question which I asked you earlier. Why we need this communication? What is the necessary of knowing this communication? Why this topic now you are learning about it or you are having this session right now? So what is the reason? Anyone? Why communication is important?
To share what we think you.
To share what we think. Okay. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. Anyone else? That's good. Okay. If you want to convey something, if you want to convey your thoughts, communication is happening like a one-way tool, which is really useful to communicate it. Yes, that is good. Then, guys, which year you people are from? Like the college, first year, second year, final year?
Second year, sir.
Guys, come on, you're all second year, you're all grown-ups, right? You're not school kids. You're all grown-ups, right? So maybe in another 1 year, you'll be completing your college and you'll be facing the real world, the professional world, which you'll be facing it, right? So I think the participation again, even if you know the answer, there's no reason to keep quiet, right? So I want to break that barrier. So that is the success of the training as a success of this oral communication. It's not about keeping quiet. And if not, if I want to do it, I can just share you the slide. You can just read by yourself. That's more than enough. Why you need training, right? So I want this to happen in a two way. The reason is that I want to bring out the real self of yourself. Okay. Okay. Apart from that, what are the reasons why you want to learn about communication? There are numerous reasons, right? If you can't just list one, there are numerous reasons why the communication has become more important, right? Okay. So now you can see this diagram, like you can see this pictorial graph. Okay, so communication, creativity. So this is an organization called Gartner. Gartner is an organization which used to collect the data, and they used to list out what are the professions which is really coming up. What are the professions which will be good in the maybe in the last the next 10 to 5 years, I can say that. So similarly, they used to categorize each and everything. So even for skills, they have categorized it. So when they try to categorize it, you can see this across 18 career fields, communication skills were the most highly sought after with the job posting. So if you want to have the reason why being, I think from their school days, right? Not only now, from the school days, I think so most of the parents, right, when they joined the kids, right, they more than the teachers, they think if we join this kid is in the similar school, right, they'll speak good, right? Their communication will get improved. This is the term they use it. So even my parents, they use the same thing, right? If you study in the school, communication will get improved. That is the only reason most of the parents will make kids to join the specific school if they want to learn, right? So the communication has been given a lot of importance from the early times, maybe from 2000 or a decade back. From that point of time, they are giving the importance of communication. So again, even now in this 21st century, the communication is prevailing as the important factor or the skill which has been required to perform very well anywhere it is. Either it may be in the professional or in the personal life as well, right? So apart from that, great creativity, collaboration, creative problem solving, critical thinking. I think these are other skills which is required in this 21st century. So if you possess all these skills in this 21st century, that means it's easy for you to get placed and it's easy for you to survive, not to earn. See, these are not the skills which will make you to earn. Okay, it'll make you survive because survival is more harder than the earning, right? So that's what the skills are try to implementing it. So again, if you have good communication, you can easily collaborate because I always say to people like communication and collaboration, go hand in hand, right? So what is collaboration? Anyone? So what is collaboration? Just try, guys. That's okay if it is wrong. That if I welcome that answer, okay, just try it. As I told you earlier, winning and losing is secondary. participation is first. Either it may be competition or any class, anything that might be. Okay, so just try to participate it. If you want to keep still like this, there's no use of the training session at all. Yes.
Connecting with more persons.
Connecting with more persons. Yes, if you want to interact, right? Because we are not, for example, this generation, right? It's not like earlier, like some specific state of people will be with, or specific culture people will be working with. But this is not the state as such in this 21st century. So we work with different state of people, right? From different culture, different heritage, right? So different country also we work. So to work with other people, collaboration is much more important. So the reason is that we nowadays we start to work in a collaborative culture, because when this collaboration is missing out, okay, I think the productivity of any organization will come down. So the reason now, even now, I can say that most of the organizations, they take employees based on this collaboration, whether they want to test whether this person is really good to collaborate with the other colleagues in the employee. Apart from your marks, your skill and other things, even they feel that whether this person is right person that will fit into my culture of the organization. Because when we talk about the culture of the organization, it defines also the collaborative culture within the colleagues as well. All right. So once you have once you have proper communication, you can easily collaborate. The reason is that if you properly know to communicate right, the collaboration automatically will happen amazingly. Right. So as I told you earlier, if it's oral communication, it's about what word you use, how you use, where you use. That's much more important. If you want to have a proper communication for the proper collaboration, so you should have the proper communication, and you should attach all these tools which I told you on the format, right? What you speak, how you speak, and where you speak, right? So these things will, if you follow this simple rule, right, easily you can collaborate with the people. Okay. And apart from that, okay, so again, if we talk about the top 5 skills in demand, is that your communication stands first wherever you go. Okay, so communication is always the predominant thing which we have it. And next is that ability to work in a team. Again, it comes to the collaboration, problem solving, even for having a leadership skill, right? When you become a leader, I think how many of them really want to become a leader? Nobody wants to become a leader. Yes, how many of them want to become a leader, guys? Here. Nobody? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, some people want to become a leader. That's okay. So even leadership is not like inborn. So the people will have the question of whether leadership is inborn. Okay, I get a lot of tones in here if I'm not wrong. I can see the comments. The reason is that I'm just sharing the screen, right? Okay, so communication, all these things. So even when you become a leader, also you need proper, communication skills. Why leadership needs the communication skills is that you should know to influence people, right? So leadership is all about influencing your thought on somebody, right? You have some thought and you want to put that thought into somebody's mind and make them to work on that, right? Which is really a hard part, right? It is not that just your non-verbal cues will give you the the person to do the productive job. Again, the communication skills works over there, right? So these are the skills which is again required, and why communication is important in this 21st century is these are all the reasons which has been listed, right? Okay. Now, what is communication? So I got some few answers. Like one person has told about what is communication and all this. Okay. So what is communication? Again, anybody wants to answer? Yes, anyone? Anyone who wishes to answer what is communication? Yes, no.
It helps to convey the message from one person to another person.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I think we got some answer. So sharing of knowledge and to convey information from one person to another. Yes, those are the communication models. And it's pretty much the precise answer is that, like, the sharing of ideas and all, most of the people will know. But really, you think so? Most of the people knows what is communication, because the communication has been perceived in a very wrong manner, especially in India. The reason is that whenever you talk about communication, people think that when you talk English very fluently, right, the fluency of the language depends or the defines communication right now in India. I can say that 100%. I can say that most of the people, they think that if any person is speaking English fluently, they say, wow, this person is having amazing communication. You think so? Is it very right for those people to say that anybody has the fluency of English to just to define a person whether he or she has an absolute communication? Can we say that just by the fluency of the language? Yes.
No, no, sir. Many person has another fluency of language.
Okay, everybody has. Okay, let that be. Let that not be English. Okay, let that not be only English. Okay, English has been prejudiced that they used to evaluate based on English, but either it might be any language also. Okay, it might be Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, or Hindi, Urdu, irrespective of any language. If they speak fluently, they say this he or she has amazing communication. Just because of the person speaks the language fluently, can we say or come to a conclusion that he or she is really good in communication? That's my question. Yes. Can they? Yes or no, guys? Come on. You can say that. It's okay. You can just guess it. Anyone? Can they say that really this person is good in communication?
No, sir.
Okay. Why no? It's no is correct answer. Yes, that's correct. But why no? Anyone? Okay, I'll tell you. So because the communication is not about only fluency or any language use, because every language is a tool, right, to communicate something. If you want communicate your ideas or thoughts or emotions or feelings, so those are activity. Your language is acting as a tool, right? It's not the pure essence. Apart from that, when you can say he or she has absolute communication, is that because communication is a very broad spectrum. It is not just bound only to your oral communication. Written is there, right? Non-verbal is there, right? So a lot of things are there. So if you take non-verbal, eye contact is there, body language, gesture, tonality, pace. Then gestures, you have eye contact, you have it, right? Your body posture, you do have it, right? So when a person has each and everything together, see, everything should be there. Your verbal, your non-verbal, your written, each and everything should be in line. When each and every person has all these things together, right? Because, for example, if I'm now taking a session for you, right? So, for example, if I keep my face frown, right? If I say like, today the communication is, do you listen? Actually, you don't listen. That is the fact. Okay, because when I try to speak to you, it's not just my voice alone is conveying to you, or my voice alone is not just communicating with you. My eye contact, my tonality, my tone, my pace of my tone, right? My gestures, my body language, my eye contact, everything is communicating with you, right? I think everybody might have heard the news about the Ukraine and the Russia war, right? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many of them have seen the video of the Vladimir Putin's interview video or something? How many of them seen any interview of Putin's video? Anyone? Okay. If not, you can just try to watch it. If you look at Putin's video, right, more than his words, his eyes, you just look at his eyes. Okay. It defines a lot what he wants to convey, right? What he wants, whether he's happy or what he wants to convey, his eyes will always reflect much of the things rather than his words. Okay, so just try to look at it. And similarly, just go for Ukraine Zelensky. Okay, Zelensky is a president of the Ukraine. So just look at his the words also, as well as his body language or eye contact. That also will be very similar. You can easily guess it. Okay, you can show that if he is empathetic, that will be reflected on his eyes itself rather than his words. So non-verbal cues also plays a very important role even on communicating. So whenever you communicate, it's not just your words alone. Because whenever you talk something, you should get a response, not reaction. When you get reaction, that means your communication has a failure. When you get a response, that means your communication is success. Right? So that's how it feels. So communication is a holistic process where a person should have all these things together. Then only we can say he or she has a good communication. Just because of fluency, we should never come to a conclusion on communication. Right? So this is what is. Okay, I'll just go to the definition. Again, Okay. Again, communication is all about exchange of information, then expressing your ideas, thoughts, and feelings through. So there are a lot of mediums. So everything has a channel. Everything has a medium. So through, we used to express the information, ideas, thoughts through your words, sounds, signs, and behaviors. As I told you earlier, oral, written, and non-verbal cues, or verbal and non-verbal cues, which we can define it. Okay. And again, these are the places where you use your communication, at most. So first, we start with interpersonal communication, right? Because we speak with your parents, when you start your day, right? Most of the time, you start with interpersonal, right? I believe that everybody starts with a lot of interpersonal communication in start of the day. Right? You speak with your parents, you speak with your friends, then with your professors or your colleagues, and even rather that might be right. So interpersonal communication, this is the first phase which you all will go through, right? So interpersonal communication which you will all go through at the first phase. Next is intrapersonal. That is, you speak within yourself, right? Whenever you want to make some decisions, right? So this is like maybe after graduation from your college or whenever you go for some professional networking, right? That is the time where we use a lot of intrapersonal communication, where we use a lot to make decision making or prejudicing or something if you want to do it, right? There we use it. Again, once you start working, we go for the organizational communication. Organizational communication is something different because there is a communication medium, a lot of communication medium which has been we are using in organization. When you work in any organization, there are some communication structures which has been really required to work in an organization. So that one you will be using. And next is that your business. Again, it's an probability. Like if you are pitching onto the business after working, that's okay. You can use this. If not, even on business, you use a lot of oral communication, right? So oral communication maximum where it uses is that in the business, right? So that's why I just want to mention you what are the phases where you're using oral communication, periodically. So again, we'll go on to the process. So I think this is the process where everybody might have seen or read about it. I think you people have business communication in your first year, right? If I'm not wrong.
Second year, sir.
The second year, sorry. Okay. I think you people might have read about this, right? Communication process channel. So sender, encoding, channel, decoding, and receiver. It's a very simple. This is a process of communication. So as I told you earlier, communication is all about reaction and response, right? You can see the sender, right? For example, if you are speaking in some telephonic conversation, right? For example, okay, you are the sender. You are just trying to encode some message. You are telling some information. That's called encoding. Okay? Whenever you drop some message, that's called encoding. And it goes through a channel. The channel is telephone. It's through mobile phone or telephone, whatever that might be. The channel is your telephone, and through telephone to the line and just been decoded. Okay, decoding is about encrypting the messages. So whatever the message, for example, if you say hi, how are you, that message has been encoded and that message has been decoded by the receiver. He understands what you have said and he gives the reply. Yes, I'm good. How are you? He's asking you. So that means he's just decoding a message and he's getting the receiver and he's giving the feedback. You can see this. That means if he gives the response, that's called feedback. But if he's saying that I can't understand, or he's just keeping quiet, or he's asking you to repeat, that means there's a communication channel which is getting break. So that's called noise, right? So similarly, it happens for any communication channel process is that whenever the sender is encoding message, the receiver decodes it and gives the feedback. Okay, the simple process of communication. Okay, now we come to just a minute. I think. Just a minute. Okay. Just a minute. Sorry. Okay. Now, what are the 7 C's of communication? I think you people might have seen and read about the 7 C's of communication. So, if you want to improve your communication, there are a lot of methods or methodologies which has been prevailing in the market. Because earlier, I do remember 7 years back, they had something called CAP rule. So if you want to improve communication, they say that you can use this CAP rule. So CAP rule is nothing but CAP, right? So C stands for clear, concise, and confident, and A for attitude, and P for polite. That's what they say. So these are when you use this CAP rule. While if you want to when you are conversing with somebody, if you use this CAP rule, you can communicate it well. That's what they say. But now the generations have changed, right? So it has been totally changed. Now we come for the 7 C's of the communication. What are the 7 C's of the communication? Anyone do aware of it? Yes. Anyone? Nobody? Okay. So first is that your completeness. What is completeness? Can somebody explain me? Like whatever you understood, you can just tell me. That's okay. If it is wrong, that's okay. In which case, I'm going to explain you. Just I want to know what you have understood by it. See, by the sentence itself, easily you can come to a conclusion. What is it all about? Yes. Anyone? I see so many people, but why you people are not answering it? Okay, so complete is nothing but whenever you talk, right? Whenever you communicate with someone, your message should be complete and supported with facts and explanation. So without completing one sentence, don't jump on to the another topic. Okay, whenever in a communication, always complete it. Whenever you want to have some conversation, complete that conversation and get on to the next conversation. Don't be incomplete the conversation. Just don't break the conversation in between and just go on to it. Right? So don't try to do that. Okay, that's what the completeness. So next is like your conciseness or concise, we can say that. Okay, concise is all whenever you talk something, right? Whenever you talk, especially in oral communication, keep the message impactful and short and simple so that the receiver will understand that very clearly. If you keep the message so long, right? Most of the people during the conversation, always communication is about two-way, right? So whenever you talk something, other person should also reply to it or respond to it, right? It's not the one way that only you will talk, another person will listen. That's not a good communication, right? So why they're asking you to keep the conversation concise is that so that other person will understand it and clearly he will understand. He will give you the response immediately. Okay, so that's what is conciseness. Okay, and next consideration. So what is consideration? Anyone? Just I want to check again. Anybody wants to answer? Yes, anyone? What is consideration? So whenever you attend any event, seminar, or any function, like any business meeting, right? When you feel bored and left out, most of the time this happens, right? Some different topics you'll be taking and we'll be feeling bored and left out. That should not happen. So whenever the strength of any powerful speaker or communicator is that she or he has to relate his audience and makes them feel involved. So they have to get into the topic. Whenever you talk with somebody, you should make them consider it. Okay, so that's much more important on this, especially when you talk about in a common forum or on the seminar or any business meetings, right? You have to consideration for everyone. For example, if you're taking some common topic and you should not address only the specific department. If other department people are also there on the seminar, you should address them also. Okay, which is much more important on such a kind of forum platform. And next is correctness. So correctness is nothing but whenever you want to talk about in a communication, be sure about your facts and figures. Don't give check all the messages, because most of the people they speak whatever they hear or see on the social media platform, right? Just don't do that. Okay, should be very clear on whichever content you just want to share with them. You should be correct, right? Basically, you want to check your facts, right? Before presenting anything, right? You have to check your facts. Okay, and next is clarity. Clarity is the most important thing, right? So your message, if your message is not clear, even if your message is good, right, that will not get conveyed. Okay, it's clarity. And next is that a concrete. Concreteness is to the point you should speak. Like precise and concrete messages mean more effective interaction with your audience. So concreteness to the point, right? Don't you can just avoid some ambiguity. Probably most of the people they use hard sentences during the presentation, right? So ambiguity is about complex. Ambiguity meaning is complex. So avoid this complex, sentence forming or complex words, so that'll avoid the confusion on the, sentence or the communication. Okay. So that should have a concrete thing. So courteousness, again, consider it. So whenever you talk something, let other person also share or his or her points, they can share it, right? So that is all about your courtesy. Yes. So these are the 7 C's of the communication. Whenever you want to have the oral communication, these things which you should follow. Okay. So then the broad categories of communication again. Okay. So one is that verbal and other one is non-verbal. So we all know this, right? So they say that 7% is verbal and 93% is non-verbal. Do you believe that this 7% and 93% are real? Yes, anyone? They say that 7% only we use verbal and 93% we use non-verbal. Do you agree with this pie chart? Anyone? Guys, are you there?
No, sir.
Okay. Why you're not agreeing? Why you're not agreeing with the pie chart? Yes. Why you're not agreeing? Because they say verbal is 7 and non-verbal is 93%, right? Why you're not agreeing? See, basically, whenever you talk, I think this is a diagram which we have it for the past 10 years, right? But even I want to break this myth because I always say 50-50 we use it. It's not like 7% or 93%, but mostly we use verbal also and non-verbal also equally important in this 21st century, right? So when we talk about this verbal, like we say the written and oral, and maybe on non-verbal we use body language, gestures, facial expression, etc., and all these things. But when you talk about this verbal, right, written and oral, like especially oral has been used predominantly, especially in a workplace, because from the, as I told you earlier, from the day you start, right? So we use a lot of oral communication and non-verbal also included to it. But that's why I say it's like 50-50. So I can't go like 7 or 93%. So it's like 7 and it's like I can say 50-50 it is. Okay. So the main reason today we're going to see about because we're going to explore on verbal communication. So I think today you don't have written communication, but we're going to explore on oral communication. So I want to debunk this 7% myth because they say the 7% only we use oral communication, right? Or the verbal communication. So I want to debunk this 7% myth, right? Okay. So now we'll see how to debunk this 7% myth. Okay. So there are two things again, as I told you earlier, there is written communication and oral communication, right? So again, today we're going to see about this oral communication, right? Again, as I told you earlier. Now there are a lot of mediums, right? As I told you earlier, every communication has medium, channel, and all these things. So what is the medium we use for? So now I'm going to show you what are the medium, channel, these things which has been using for oral communication. For oral communication, what are the mediums we use? Words, sentences, and voice. Okay, apart from your body language, facial expression, tone, and pauses. Because whenever you communicate, right, you use your body language, use a facial expression, your tone, right? My tone defines everything, right? Maybe if I'm happy, my tone is different. If I'm sad, it will be even more low. If I'm angry, that will be totally different. With your tone, you can really understand what kind of emotion or what kind of state a person is in, right? And again, your pauses. Pauses is all about, where you're taking your pauses. Yes, okay, keeping quiet, right? Where you should know this, right? So in oral communication, these are the things, verbal and non-verbal things, whichever we use it. So as I told you earlier, why I'm not disagreeing with the 7 and 93 is that you can see this words, sentence, voice, body language, facial expression, tone, and pauses. Both verbal and non-verbal equally complements for any communication. Okay. And next is that mode. So mode, everyone knows that it's human voice. Okay. So again, similarly, it applies for your body language, facial expression, tone of your voice. Then next, we come to the channel. So channel is, so always the communication channel is, linear and voluntary. It's very straight. Okay. It doesn't go at a long way. Okay. Verbal communication is very linear and it's very straight. Also, it's a continuous process. The why we are talking about why we are saying that communication, oral communication continuous process is that immediately you're getting a response, right? Immediately you get response, so that we have just trying to have a conversation minute or minute. Okay, so that's why we are saying that as a continuous process. Okay. So next, how to master verbal communication. So any idea if you want to master the oral communication? What are the things which you people have tried it? Anyone? How many of them feel that really you people are really good in oral communication? If not, what are the ways which you have tried to improve your verbal communication? Anyone?
To know the look and corners of the grammar.
Sorry, I can't get it. Can you come again?
To learn the nook and corners of the grammar.
Grammar, okay. Learning about the grammar. So you believe that grammar makes communication proper? No, just I want to know. The reason is that maybe most of the time what happens is that yeah, I think you people might have heard about Bernard Shaw. This is a great English poet, right? So he always says there's nothing called perfect English, right? So basically, if you look at Americans, right, they don't use any grammatical on this sentence. But if you look at the people from UK, they use a lot of grammatical things on their sentence. Okay, so this is how it goes. Again, grammar is important, but again for communication, apart from your grammar, I think most of other things also is equally important. Yes, anyone? Yes, that's good. Okay, using grammar is also look and corner of grammar is also a good thing. Yes. Apart from that, anyone?
Wanna hear to more English speeches?
Okay, you want to hear a lot of speeches from other people, English speeches or the interviews. Yes, that's also a great way to improve your oral communication. That's true. That okay.
Seeing more English lecture videos.
Okay, similarly, it again speaks, right? So if you want to master any verbal communication, there are very few rules. Okay, there are very few rules which you have to practice it. Okay, so communication is all about prepare and practice, right? That is what they say. Okay, plan, prepare, and practice. They say three pieces. It's really important for any oral communication. Okay, so first is the think before you speak. Whenever you want to communicate, right? Because choose your words wisely, they say. They use this proverb, right? So whenever you want to speak something, think before you speak, because words are like arrow. Once it's been given, you can't take back, right? So whenever you want to speak, think before whatever you want to speak. And next is like speak with confidence. So if you look at any politician, right, most of the politicians or any great speakers, though the content will be like dull content, but the voice, the amount of confidence which they carry on their subject is that when they speak, it always gives a kind of a great vibe, right? So whenever you are saying no, also speak with confidence. When you're saying yes, also be with confidence. Don't stand on the gray area. Either be on the black, either be on the white. Okay, either be on one side. Okay, so that also gives you a lot of confidence. Generally, this happens in the interview, right? Because if they'll ask you, about something, yes or no questions, they might ask. Most of the people in interview, they say everything yes. Are you ready to work in night shift? They say yes. Are you ready to work for 10 years? Yes. Are you ready to come for the early work for 20 years? They say yes, because for the job, right? This happens quite, but there are some times which you should also take chance to say no. No is also a powerful answer. It's not only yes alone is not a powerful answer. Even no is also a powerful answer, right? So always speak with confidence. Whenever you want to convey something, speak with confidence. Okay. As I told you earlier, again, we saw that seven C's, right? Clear and concise is again there. Whenever you talk something, be clear, because clarity on the speech is much more important. So then only at least the whatever you want to convey, right, that will be easily be conveyed to them. And concise is again keeping that short and simple, right? So next is be aware of non-verbal communication cues. So when we talk about this non-verbal communication cues, what we mention is that your body language, your tonality, okay, eye contact. See, what happens is that whenever people communicate with somebody, right, somebody will be answering you something and you will be using your mobile or will be looking at somewhere, right? So this should be avoided, right? And again, this is the be a good listener. So being a good listener, listening is one of the skills which has to be mastered. So that's why people say, so God has given two eyes and one mouth, but two ears as well. Because it's one mouth is like you can speak easily, but listening is something very hard skill. If you look at great person's interview, right? Maybe you can just find on the YouTube. Most of these great personalities, they don't speak much, but they listen a lot. If you look at the interviews, right? They speak very little, right? But they listen a lot. So listening is something because the reason why listening has become important is that whenever we in a communication, what happens is the speaker always wants to convey what he wants to tell. Okay, he don't listen, right? But real communication start with good listening. That's the true fact. Okay, so first listen, then try to respond to it. Okay, so think about the perspective of your audience. So whenever you talk something, just empathize what other person will feel if you use this tone, if you behave in such a way, or if you have this kind of a tone when you talk to them, what they will feel. Just think about the perspective of your audience. Just empathize them. Okay, so that is what is given. And benefits of oral communication is that mostly it saves time, right? Because you are getting the response faster. Okay, I think here they mentioned like the feedback loop is faster, right? So immediately you are receiving the feedback. So it saves time, obviously. Okay, and it's more effective as emotions are well portrayed. So during the oral communication, you can easily see that emotions are easily portrayed. We can easily understand whether this person is really interested in on the conversation or not, or really he is, engaged in the conversation, or really is angry or is sad. Because emotions explains a lot about the person, right? What kind of state he is in. Okay, so that's why it's given like it's more effective as emotions are well portrayed. And verbal communication economical. Okay, I don't think this is necessary, like because you don't need to spend anything, you just spend your voice. And again, we talk about the tonality, right? Your tonality and emotions go hand in hand, right? Because if you're really in a state of anger, your tone might get raised, right? So at that point of time, the person can easily understand this person is really angry. And if a person is really, if your tone is low, you can say that okay, this person is not neither interested or he's not ready to accept the conversation. Okay, so your tone is also equally important. So whenever you communicate it, look for your emotions, look for your tone, right? And be a good listener. These three things really vital for improving your communication a lot. Okay. And next is the conversation upskilling. So when we talk about conversation upskilling is that most of the time, in oral communication, we try to converse with somebody, right? The conversation happens, right? So how to improve your conversation is much more important for anyone, because nowadays because we meet a lot of strangers, right? Like new people we meet. So most of the people I see, they find difficult to start a conversation with the new people. For example, if you meet some new person, right, the unknown person, if you want to get introduced, how you will get introduced, guys? How you will start a conversation? Anyone? Anyone? So how you will start a conversation if you meet some stranger, if you see some new person who is not been introduced to you earlier, and you're meeting some new person, how you will get introduced? How you will start a conversation with them? Anyone? So there are a lot of things which people can do. For example, if you're looking at some new person, you can say that, hi, I want to introduce myself. Then you can start off with the conversation. Or you can say that, do you have a minute? You can just ask by, do you have a minute? Then you can start with the conversation. Then you can say that, if you are looking at, like, if you're looking at some random person in some meeting, is this your first time? Is the first time you hear? Something like that, you can just ask them and you can start off with the conversation. If you meet some your family relative, maybe if you're seeing some person who's already and quite some time you have not seen them or met them, you can say long time no see. That also can be used. Okay, so those are the things so any conversation you should have a proper start and proper end. Any conversation, when you start it right with anyone, you should also end it in a proper way. So for ending also, you should use some proper tone, like maybe just bluntly, you can't just in between, you can just go, okay, bye. Don't say that. Okay, just take some time in the conversation. When you start and end a conversation, gracefully, end the conversation also in a graceful manner, because that always fetch up to another conversation in the future case. Okay, so whenever you want to end up, you can say that, okay, I let you carry on them, or I have got to get going, or then I shall now roll you out, or thank you for a great time. So just say some jargon. Okay, then you can just end the conversation. Don't go blunt. It will be so blunt. That should not happen in a conversation. Okay, and these are the key points which you can use it, like for improving your conversation, right? Upskill your conversation. These are all the things which you can do. So one is that focus on asking open-ended questions to encourage the conversation. So conversation should not be like yes or no answer, right? Do you like this color? Yes, no. It should not be like that. Any conversation should encourage to a conversation. For example, you can ask them like, for example, if they ask you which book you read, right? They might give you some book, or they may give you some XYZ book about or Stephen Covey book which I have read it. And again, from that you should ask them again, like, what is the book which I have read it recently. Okay, the corner should be like open ended. Okay, not a closed ended question. Okay. And next, again, make eye contact to let the other person know that you are engaged. Then turn the questions around after answering oneself. So if the other person is asking question to you also ask them the same question or the different question to them. Don't let the other person asking the same question. Keep on asking. I see a lot of the conversation happening like one person will be asking the question, the other person will be just telling the answer. That should not be the case. Okay, if they ask you like what book you read, you also ask them what book you read recently. Okay, so how are you? So all these things, just ask them, right? So turn the questions around after answering oneself, which is much more important. Okay, and definitely keep your phone put away while you're talking to someone, because this is quite embarrassing thing that which is happening right now everywhere I see, right? Either it may be on the restaurants, right? I think recently myself and my mother went for some restaurant, and there's a group of people who has come for the some lunch or get together. They have come from some office. Okay, so once they come to the table, right? Once they sat on the table, I see everyone are just taking away the mobile and just looking at staring at their mobile. Nobody's having any conversation on the table. Like the person who is sitting next to them also using the mobile, and this person is also using the mobile. So that's awkward moment, right? Only two or three persons like they're conversing. So it's actually a bad habit, right? So always try to converse. Definitely when somebody's trying to converse, especially when you try to converse with somebody, try to put your phone away. Okay. And next, maintain a friendly tone, show that you are interested in the conversation. So always look for your tone, your tonality. Okay, that means it shows that you are interested in the conversation. Okay. So use acknowledgement responses to show that you are listening. So now training happens, right? So earlier I was asking you to answer, and I was asking you whether my voice is audible to you. You people are still quiet. Okay, that's a bad response. Okay, whenever somebody's asking you, you should not acknowledge responses. Yes, no, okay, yes, right. Acknowledgement response are much more important. It shows at least you are listening, right? Okay. So again, embrace the differences, because in a conversation, what happens is that it's not that only. Generally, what happens in a conversation, we try to we'll be talking about some topic, and he will say that whatever his thought is best, and this person will debate that this thought is best. So any topic, right? Whenever we have a conversation, that should not be like a like a debate. That should be like a discussion, not like a debate. Don't debate it. Whenever you try to debate it, okay, the conversation will end up in a very negative manner. Okay, just try to have a discussion. Just compliment that. If you have because five fingers are not the same, right? There's always difference. So if you find any differences, just try to embrace it. Acknowledge the differences. Tell them, yes, this is really good. Okay, then start with it. So always embrace the differences in the conversation as well. Okay. So discuss rather than debate. Again, the same point which I want to tell that in here. So discuss, okay, rather than debate or foster a positive atmosphere. So never ever debate in a conversation, like especially with your friends or anyone, like, because that will end up in a very negative way. So try to discuss, have a discussion. Okay. So again, make a good first impression. So whenever in oral communication, especially oral communication, there is nothing called second impression. That's always called first impression. Okay. So whenever you want to make any oral communication, be that in a very powerful manner. For example, maybe I can say in your interview, right? They'll ask you, tell me about yourself. Okay. So most of the people will start with their name and just they go with the college, from where they are, what their parents do. Right? You think so? That's much more powerful impression which that gives you on yourself. Anyone? Yes? No? Acknowledge responses. Anyone? Okay, so whenever you start with your tell me about yourself, don't just start with your name and add some powerful sentences behind you. For example, if I talk about myself, so I'll say like myself, Krishna, and I'm a self-driven and a versatile individual who's looking for the feat of training and development for the past 3 years. So that's how I start. So next to Krishna, I add this two words, self-driven and versatile. So it adds some kind of a weightage as well as the powerfulness to my image as well, yourself, right? Because the question is about yourself. Don't talk about your parents and all these things. Okay, so the impression is much more important in oral communication when you want to present yourself. So as we saw earlier, like the conversation start and how to start a conversation and how to end a conversation. Okay, I think the activity is not there for you. Okay, so next is that your group discussion. So where we use this oral communication again is on your group discussion. How many of them have attended group discussion or participated in group discussion earlier, guys? Anyone?
No, sir.
Nobody has participated. Maybe when you go for the interview, right? Okay, this group discussion is really important, and this will be a final round or maybe pre-final. I can say that. Okay, so group discussion all about they don't want to test your knowledge. Do remember, any interview they will not test your knowledge. They want to test who this person is really. Okay, so if I go for the interview, they want to know who really Krishna is. Whether they don't want the best person, they want the right person, because right person can be the best person, but best person can't be the right person. So any company or any organization, when they want to hire you, they want the right person for the organization, whether this person is really good for the culture, whether he is really fit into the organization culture, whether he really worked towards it, or whether his goals are aligned with the vision of the company. All these things they'll check. Okay, so group discussion is a kind of a process where they'll try to understand who this person is really. So generally what happens in a group discussion, there will be 10 to 15 people, hardly I can say that. Okay, and they'll be giving you a topic. Okay, for any topic that might be, for example, if they give you a topic like who is a better leader, okay, male or a female, okay, that's the topic they are giving you. For example, I'm telling. Okay, so if they give you the topic, they'll ask you to discuss. Okay, so one person will start the discussion. So first person they'll give you 3 minutes to 5 minutes of time to prepare for the topic. So then you should start on with your conversation. Okay, so you should stand on one point. Why, if you feel that male is good, if other person feeling that female is good, you can just put down your points over there. Okay, so then they'll just try to, whether you're complimenting, for example, one person will start. Okay, they'll feel that okay, this person initiating. Okay, they'll ask, anybody can start. They won't ask some specific person to start. They'll just randomly they'll say start. So the person who stands first and talk, right, they feel that okay, this person is initiating. He's a proactive person. That's a kind of impression they will get it. Okay, that is one. And again is that they look for your content. The main things which they look in a group discussion is that first is that they look at your what content you speak, how analytical you are. So analytic skills is much more important. Then reasoning skills should be good. Then again, communication they see. Then organization skills they will see. Creativity they see. Okay, how you present yourself, how you compliment it. For example, if you're speaking at the last, everybody like out of the 15 people, 14 people has done with their discussion, and you are the last person who wants to speak about the topic. Okay, so at that point of time, what you can do, if you have the same point or if you have any disagreement on that point, you can't just directly say I disagree with him or her. You can't say that. If you say that like that, what they will say, okay, this person is not taking others' view or others' opinion as well. That's what the feeling they get it. So whenever you want to have a group discussion, if you want to participate or if you want to take up the same topic, you can say like I compliment the point of if you want to add some more points to the other person also, you can say on the contrary, I want to compliment to the XYZ person. Then you can start off with the conversation. Okay. So again, your conversation, like group discussion is not on commenting, it's about complimenting. Right, so it doesn't go in a like commenting way, it's going in a complimenting way. You should know to compliment it. Okay, so it shows a sense of responsibility as well as this person really takes others' opinion and views as well. Right, so again, whenever you come up with the figures content, right, you should be very good with your facts and figures. Don't say some wrong facts. Okay, that will again pull down to you. Okay, so again it's about how you communicated. Right, how you communicate it again is much more important. Again, here they check your body language, all these things. Okay. So again, you can say this. So there'll be so they'll not moderate. So a moderate is all about. It's not a debate. Nobody will dare to moderate this discussion. Okay, there'll be 5 to 6 panel members who will be looking at your discussion. Okay, judges like 5 people will be there, but they won't moderate it. So just start just like that, it will end. Okay. And 10 to 15 participants at a time. Preparation time will be 3 to 5 minutes, and anybody can start and end the discussion. Okay. So mostly what they look at is the candidates' interactive skills. Okay. And next is that the oral presentation is all about your seminar or somewhere around if you want to present it. Okay, short talk. You all know, I think you all might have done this presentation. Apart from your slides, right? Apart from your slides, whichever you're dropping it. Okay, whenever you prepare for the presentation, just keep in mind these three things: plan, prepare, and practice. So this is like going for a war. If you want to, if you're just going for a war and if you want to win the war, it's the most important point is it's not the weapon. Weapon is not the important thing. It's about how you're going to attack them, right? Planning is much more, strategy is much more important than with what you're going to fight. Your weapon is secondary. It's more importantly what is, the crux is that how you going to fight, okay, rather than with what you're going to fight. So plan is much more, strategy is much more important for any presentation, and then prepare it. Once you prepare, once you find the strategy, once you plan it, just try to prepare. Okay, prepare the content accordingly, then practice it. At least you should know to practice. If you're really strong enough to handle your content, it's one like twice is enough. If not, you can just practice multiple times to get the flow of the content. Okay, so that is the reason they ask to practice. So do remember, whenever you want to present any seminar or any topic, keep this in mind: plan, prepare, and practice. Okay, and always keep it simple. Don't add too much of content to it. Like I see a lot of people, they put the theory. See, if you look at the presentation, I won't add any theory content. I'll just add 1 or 2 bullet points in here. Right? I won't add much contents. So presentation should be like it's for bullets. Okay, just for cues it will be giving you. Okay, and keep it simple as well. Okay. So to improve your oral communication, these are the books which I want you to take it down, or you can I'm just suggesting you. So these books are really helpful to go on with your improve your communication. So again, not only just your books, there are a lot of things on the background. We have to. I think somebody has texted. Just a minute. Okay, I think somebody has raised their hand, or on chat it is. Okay, sorry. Okay, so just try to look at these books. Okay, apart from that, just try to listen to a lot of conversation. Okay, and keep practicing. Oral communication will improve if you just read through your heart, right? It won't come. Just read aloud. Okay, whenever you read a sentence, just have your lip reading a lot. Okay, so that will really improve oral communication. And again, this book, like Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. If you want to improve your vocabulary and other, this book will talk to you. It will not be like other books. This book is really good. Okay, I think something 250 or 260 on the Amazon or somewhere around. This book is really good. Word Power Made Easy. It really improve your communication. I can guarantee you on that. At least 70% it will improve your communication. I can guarantee you on this Word Power Made Easy. Because initially when I started it, I have used this book earlier. Alright, so we can just use this up. So if you have any questions for me, you can just ask me, guys. Yes, any questions? Anyone? Hope there's no questions. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your participation. Like, see, lack of participation, I don't know what is hampering you to make you stay behind the participation. But at least from the next class or the next, maybe on your classes, right? I expect a lot of people to participate. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.